This tutorial partly builds upon the previous tutorial and presumes that you have made sure that the whole document has all its contents color values interpreted as one single color profile. For the plotter, that is sRGB or Adobe RGB. If you are unsure how to use the print production and the pre-flight and convert colors tools in Adobe Acrobat, please check the previous tutorial. Hold Ctrl and press P to print. Make sure to change from the default KTH Print printer to the KTH Print Plotter printer. Go into Properties. With Properties open, it is important that you change the document size to the size that you intend for your document. In this case, this is an oblong landscape format, 420 times 140 millimeters. So we'll make sure to click Custom here and change the units to millimeter. And the width in this case is 420 millimeters and the length is 140. Now, please be prepared for this. After you have changed the name here to something that is unique, so custom 420 times 140, when you click Save here, you will be greeted by a prompt that says that the width should not be larger than the length for the paper size. And this is the paper format itself. We'll click Save here, and you will see it. The width of a paper size should be equal or smaller than its length. And if you click OK here, you let the driver itself, the printer driver, to invert these two, so that the width is going to be the length and the length is going to be the width. And then you will have to remember to change the orientation of the format itself to landscape. So we'll do that immediately. We click OK here, and you see that the values were interchanged. We click OK here, and now we go immediately to Layout tab here, and then we change the orientation of the format to landscape, because as of now, it is inverted as to our expectations. We want it to be longer on the landscape, longer on the x-axis, and shorter on the y-axis. But if we click Landscape here, then the paper format that we custom defined will be interpreted as a landscape format. So 420 times 140, the same as we have intended. Now we can go back to the Paper and Quality tab here. Make sure that the print quality is full quality, and then going back to the Layout Output tab here. And the rotation is not the orientation of the paper format, but the rotation of the printed objects. So if you see here, now we have the template diagram here in the upper right corner. If we rotate by 90 degrees, you will see that both the format and the content will be rotated counterclockwise 90 degrees. But in this case, this is not what we intend. So let's change back to avoid clipping. And we see here that the general proportions of the dimensions previewed here are comparable to the document that we intend to print. As for the roll options, we can enable crop lines. This will yield a thin line that will help us cutting out our intended final size. It will be automatically cut along the x-axis, but the y-axis will be left uncut. And that's then a crop line is nice to have as a guideline. Going into the color tab, we see here that there are two different color managed printer profiles that we can choose between, sRGB and Adobe RGB. Here it is important that you choose the one that your whole document adheres to. In this case, all the color values are interpreted as sRGB, so we'll make sure to click sRGB. That is all that we need to change here. So we'll click OK. And we'll see here on the preview that we have approximately 420 times 140 millimeters, and the scale is 100%, that's the same as actual size. And we make sure that printing grayscale is not checked, since we intend to print this in color. All right, then we click Print. All right, let's go to the plotter. If the plotter is asleep, you can awaken it by clicking the power button. It says here that it's initializing mechanics. Wait for it to initialize. After the mechanics have been initialized and it's ready for printing, make sure to use your KTH access card and log in here. And we see here that we have one pending print. So we click Print and we select it, and we can click on this hand icon here and show a preview. And we can actually see a preview of the document to be printed. To print, make sure that this document is selected and then click this button. Now it's printing. And you see the cost here. It costs 6 krona and 25 öre. It says here that it's going to dry the ink. And now it cuts the paper. And we are free to take this out. We can put it on the table here. And this, of course, you will have to cut away manually. You see that there is a thin, it's very, very thin here. I don't know if you can see it, but there is a crop line here. So you get a guideline where you can cut it away.